God knows the exact times when to reveal you and when to hide you, even right before people's faces. You know, Moses was hidden as a baby and grew up right under Pharaoh's nose. Jesus himself, during his ministry, would often hide himself away, and it wasn't out of fear, but because he was valuable, because his path was valuable. And though eventually Calvary would be achieved, his great work would be accomplished in giving his life for our sin, had he been reckless, would have only added distractions to his path. Many times he hid himself away. He even would heal people and deliver them and say, "Don't say anything." And he said that because he didn't need unnecessary attention drawn to this very important time. And the Lord will often hide you, and you can be even amidst people and feel like nobody sees you. And these are the times when, no one's calling and it feels like no one's there for you. Your value hasn't gone down. You have to understand that the Lord calls you into isolation for many reasons, and all of them are about him and you. He will intentionally hide you, even amidst people that you've talked to daily for a long time. He will intentionally turn heads away from you. And he does this to keep you safe, to draw you to him, to teach you greater reliance in him, and to keep, the word tells us not to cast your pearls before swine. And to you to God are his pearls. And the Lord is not going to allow all this uncleanness around you, especially prior to him repositioning many of you. He's not going to allow you to be surrounded by distractions and what is unclean, by those who love this world. You can believe that the Lord is not going to hide you from believers. He's not going to hide you from his own people. But if there are no believers around you, yes, the Lord will keep you hidden as you are precious to him. And he's protecting you and what he's purposed you for. Just like with Jesus, Jesus had a great mission to accomplish, and Jesus hid himself and wanted others to keep quiet about the great things he was beginning to do, because he didn't want to draw unnecessary attention. The mission is always the goal. The Lord is always with us, and though sometimes we want attention, our flesh wants attention, validation, love. This isn't wrong. But if you are not surrounded by people who are going, if you have around you those who will feed your flesh and your ego over those who will feed your spirit, the Lord will hide you. If you have people that are going to distract you from the Lord and distract you from your purpose, bring you in danger away from the Lord is going to hide you. He is going to cloak you. There's a point, where Jesus is in Nazareth. And this is his own people, right? And he gets chased to the cliff. He reads from the scroll of Isaiah, "The Spirit of God is upon me, and I am here to set the captives free." And the people get really upset with him, looking at him like, "Who are you?" And again, these are people he grew up with. They chase him to the cliff to kill him. And the word tells us that Jesus actually walked right through the people unto safety. God will cloak you. He will cover you, even amidst and around people who seek to harm you. And if we would trust him and not take it personal as if it's about us, then we would find peace here. I know that's hard. I know that's hard to find peace in isolation, especially if you were once, with people and all about people. But There are times in this walk where you will need to be called to be just one-on-one with him. And depending on what he's purposed you for, some of us longer, some of us had to stay in that incubation period a bit longer, in isolation a bit longer. There are many in the Word who traveled alone. John the Baptist himself, he was a holy man who couldn't even drink wine. He was so holy. His purpose to make way for Messiah. And he lived in the woods eating locusts and honey. Very separated. Very separated. Yet John was a very joyful man. And you can feel that off the scripture. I always do. I always feel the joy of John the Baptist. And he didn't, for people looking at him, he didn't have anything. But he forsook these things, More tethers to this world and the things of it, including the people who love it, can only do damage unto your spirit. It doesn't mean the Lord is going to have you be alone forever or have you in the woods eating locusts and honey. It just means endure what he's called you into, because you can trust him and he's good and his plans are always good and to prosper you. He'll take care of you. There is nothing you will ever lack if you would trust in him. You'll find that in a season of isolation, from your emotional needs, mental needs, to your physical needs, he will provide everything. He will guide you. And yes, you will come to even enjoy just you and him. And then a time will come where generally he will reintroduce you. He'll bring you, some of his people. And who knows, depending on what you're purposed for. But trust him. Let the Lord cover you, for he knows what's best. He knows what he's protecting you from. He knows. He wouldn't keep you from what's good. But yes, he will cloak you. He will cover you. He will hide your value. Just like Moses, he will hide your identity before the eyes of those who could do damage to you. Please don't feel some type of way. Don't take it personal. Please don't believe that you are not, there's something wrong with you, or, people suddenly forsake me. Listen, God will never forsake you. God will never go anywhere. Lean into him. Press into him. And you will find him fulfilling you in every way possible.